Good morning from Volga's frontier, ready for another adventure. As we once more continue our journey in this wondrous sandy odyssey, the exceptionally created journey. Our intentions are to still absorb the ambience, experience this impressive environment. As we journey on through. As always, Fox Frontier is humbled to have you aboard this wondrous environment released several years ago, really capturing the ambience of a space that really does emphasize this magical sandy abyss to which we are experiencing with our wondrous character, using both tapestries of both levitation, fruity tones, a space to this aptly named journey. So let's continue and see what we can do. We may have another impressive. You leave your character for a while, or she sits down in a meditative state, just in the flow and ambience of these wondrous sandy spaces. We may have done this in the previous session, I'm not entirely sure, but if we have, we'll just redo this session here. Journey on down through the next phase. Really marvelous exercise in essence, ambience, magnificence. Really capturing the ambience, light, the sun, destination beyond the mountaintop, beyond the walls. Let's activate some of these tapestries. And obviously we can communicate and levitate by releasing these tapestries. Really marvelous depth and detail. It's rather Arabian style. Sandy wonder. As you can see, our character releases the tapestries by moving near them, radiating this fruity ambiance, activating the tapestries, critical in the activation and initialization of various stages, gates, pathways, sandy openings. It really does provide a truly exceptional ambiance here. So let's go ahead and release the last tapestry. I do believe this is the last tapestry exercise. And, in silence, these little creatures, these little floating tapestries also release. Take you on a journey if you need to be carried from one platform to the other. It does have that rather mist-style environment, that mist feeling, that mist ambiance, that mostly associated with these specific environments. An undeniable feeling of intrigue and wonder you get with mist. It's certainly quite prevalent in this environment. And considering this is perhaps more than a decade old, it really is impressive. So we call upon our little tapestries to take us up. Into the gate, wonderful practice there. But we be quite skilled in our approach. Alas, we are seemingly not able to summon our tapestries to get us to the opening. That's the aim point. And the tapestries feed our little scarf, giving us the energy to continue on the journey. And there before us, we may have done this before in a previous session, but it's still a spectacular sequence as we look upon the silent and very engrossing odyssey that is before us, as always creating this deep conduit into other worlds. So let's jump down, slide on down into this abyss. It's quite a journey, so let's jump and commence a journey down into the depths. This wonderfully created environment. Not just the freedom of actually moving, flowing with the sandy particles, being caught on the impressive, magical robe, this nameless character simply wanders through. Another spectacular sight here. And it's just a very impressive. And it's just amazing reflection. The sandy particles as the sun. This opportunity to stop and admire the distant zenith point, the summit of our destination there before us. Sandy spaces to moments of ambience. This certainly does provide that wondrous space. Let's head on down. Especially these sand falls, capturing the light as we head further on down. Into the depths of this sandy wonder. Spectacular descent. So let's continue. See what this particular stage opens. Usually they obviously trigger the gate beyond when we activate the rune spaces or the rune symbols. A respectful bow to the oracle highlighting a path, tapestry, to the summit of the mountain beyond. It's so wonderfully created, this depth, this tapestry, various stages, a sandy odyssey, and the gates opening, revealing the next phase of our journey to the summit. No panic, no risk of death, simply a pathway. To being reborn. As we reach a focus point here in the journey. An incredible cobalt blue sandy effect here. Sun coming through. Especially the slides that occur as the character moves through some of the sandy spaces. A sandy ambience of colours and light. Really providing a moment of detail, depth and reflection. Another impressive sight. Each part of this entire environment really just emphasized the scope and scale, considering it was made over a decade ago. It's certainly very impressive. Called The Journey. Above the sandy plains on this derelict world, this mysterious place to obviously subterranean sandy world beneath. Very impressive. Journey on through, and we can see so many tapestries. Obviously they'll provide us with the as you can see as we move near them, we'll activate these tapestries. Are really interesting and wondrous fusion of both solitude, ambience, perspectives. Sandy wonders. very atmospheric. Using these tapestries as a bridge to cross the Great Divide, this section. Okay, very impressive. So let's journey on through, observing moments of silence. Just trying to be the moment to feel the very dusty environments. Very sandy. Environments. Really just focusing on the very picturesque, rather isolation, solitude. Such a great degree of depth and detail. So it looks like we have some, I think the first, perhaps hostile. And there we have the hostile. Rather startling, but yes, from the silence and ambience, and there we have the first activity of some interaction from the creature in this environment, from tapestries to mystical beings. So let's continue on through. I'm sure that we would need to complete some objective. Again, so atmospheric considering its age and its particle effects as well. Reflections and light. Journey on through. See if we can make it out of this sandy space. Slight Mines of Moria feeling. As we go with the columns in around the space, let's see if we can avoid the watchful gaze. And there we have. There's a first hostile activity, but as you can see, it doesn't result in anything other than, I think, your scarf being, or your levitation energy being depleted. Okay, very atmospheric. Indeed. These huge sandfalls and these mystical creatures of struck again. But hopefully we won't have any lasting effects as a result of that. We should really try to move on as stealthily and as focused as possible as we continue on through. Very impressive, as we could see. So very parts of this stages, parts of what you experience are very impressive. They provide such an atmospheric environment. You'd really realize the depth, certainly the detail that is provided. But we managed to avoid the serpents, these mystical serpents of this sandy abyss. So let's go ahead and activate the runes and transition to traverse once more the next stage as we climb the mountain to the final activation. What messages does the Oracle have in store for us? Again, a spectacular sequence. Just having a moment to silence as we once more are led to the journey to the finite completion as we head towards the mountaintop summit of mountain advances are to be revealed. But again, you can really see the lanterns, every part of this environment really does exude an incredible degree of both atmosphere, sandy silence, and depth. So it looks like we've been given a clear pathway to climb onto each of these platforms, to re-emerge from the sandy depths into the light of another day on a continuing journey here in this impressive abyss. Even the rotating lanterns, there's so much simplicity, yet a great degree of great detail, of depth. We have just the additional platforms either side, so very impressive. And it looks like we're just simply falling. So it looks like we have to try to somehow make it up and through. Through the platforms. Succumbing and falling into the abyss, so it's more challenging than some of the other stages. We'll just use those as a bridge as we continue again. Easy just to flow and experience. A false move, wrong move, and we may have to start from the beginning. And as you can see, check the volumes there. You can see the impressive art of trying to move into and through as we continue the journey. I just want to make sure that the volume is reasonable. Let's continue. Want to see if we can and we've made it to the additional platform. So again, a very impressive ambience, especially the design and the structures. I wonder indeed what happens when we reach the additional platform here. Very lucky that we managed to reach this platform, as we can see, heading up. And there we have the platforms now are turning into more so these very impressive journey. So a real impressive way in which we can just simply continue the journey and experience the journey in this wondrous sandy odyssey. So let's gonna continue on and experience and complete the level. Impressive. So it looks like trying to reach. Looks like we're trying to reach a final activation here of the remaining spaces, the remaining part of this huge journey up towards the light. So we can see there's a huge tapestry. Are we able to use very impressive. Remain with the tapestry as it continues, so very atmospheric, very deep, and there all the way down. I was almost tempted to just simply fall down all the way to the bottom and recommence this journey, but wonderful fusion between silence and ambience. Let's see what this has in store for us as we journey on through. Okay. Just the sequence and the actioning, the total environment really provides one with a wonderful core journey. Very atmospheric. Again, feeling as much like Mist as this impressive ambiance. From stages to platforms to huge creatures and activated tapestries. Again, the next stage in the journey to the light revealed. You can see we're getting ever closer to the very top as we're elevated. But again, a vastly impressive journey as we can make our way to the very top. And there, the top of the tower, revealing the completed sequence. Had a journey up from the lower level. Let's activate all the runes. And with that, and there we have completed stage. Well, that was an ascension. The very top. Continuing journey. The Oracle once more, revealing its presence. In so much depth. We did observe silent moments, just had a moment down lower on the platform, just wanted to make sure those volume levels were all right. But focusing on the silence and the ambience there, and again these tapestries, really creating that conduit into alternate worlds. Very spectacular view. Really just taking one's moment to render such a fusion of both atmosphere, art, concepts, that wondrous tapestry was revealed to us, indicating perhaps the completion of the journey. Let's go on through to the next stage. We can see it's turning from sand to snow as we journey on to the next stage. Going to get ever closer now as we ascend further up into the mountain. We have a companion with us. Looks like it's going to help us. Let's communicate. Can we communicate? I think the longer your tapestry, the more capable you are at levitation. But it looks like we're approaching completion of our sandy journey up the zenith point, summit, this mysterious place. Even the snow dynamics, the particles being affected, maybe movements, the character gliding, moving, stepping through the snow, provides that detail, although it's again not compared to some of the renders that you, some of the examples that you see more recently, but still, it has just that right amount of detail. It's not too detailed or not too simple, as it were, to create this impressive ambience. So from sun and sand to now wind and snow. It's just a really impressive example of these spaces, and try to get to see if we can get to that last so these monuments providing these small keystones, providing a wind resistance to the wind pushing us back. Let's journey on through. Okay, very scenic, very impactful in its environment. Let's release that tapestry. I feel the completion of the journey, reaching the very summit. Let's continue the journey. As always, a practice in solitude. It's rather ominous. Serpents. These sandy creatures being held together by the unknown force which binds this sandy odyssey together. And exceptional. See where we're supposed to go. I think we've got to activate no voices, no speeches, just comfortable fluty tones. Very scenic environments. Let's continue on and see what we can see. Impressive appreciation both in scale. Such are the kind of environments that are on offer. Try and get to the there we have our releasing the tapestry from the ice and creating a bridge. Mind is somewhat distracted when one is really enthused by some of the very scenic environments that are on offer in this demonstration of ambience, environments, a wonderful atmosphere this creates. So let's journey on through and reach, hopefully reach, I'm sure we won't have to encounter that creature. Let's continue on. Very impressive. Looks like being attacked, and yes, it rather puts a rather breaks the solitude somewhat. Again, no ill, just perhaps delay, but no lasting effects. See if we can get through here. Complete the journey. We are reaching the summit. In fact, the summit is just so close from the beginning, from the previous presentation. You could see the mountain in the distance, but now we're getting ever closer. And we can see now. Let's see if we can get the very core and complete the journey. Completion in the voyage. From sandy spaces, the sun, to the frosty spaces in and around the journey here. Just so atmospheric. It's very impressive. So we have another tapestry we've activated. Let's continue. It's very rich and very deep. Let's jump down. I'm sure we're going to experience more obstacles. I think nearly reached the... There's a huge block of those tapestries. And the watchful eye of this it just has such an ambience about this. Let's head on through and complete the journey. Oh, we're targeted, unfortunately. Spectacular, a little bit worse for wear, our little character, but really is a demonstration of the exceptional way in which this whole environment really adds to the essence of exploration. Having a really rough time trying to steer clear of that creature. Let's see if we can journey on through here now. Please get to the solitude, the finite point in our journey. Again, very impressive. As we can see, we're making our way. Seeing what we can looks like we need to release these from... Don't seem to be feeding, don't seem to be charging our... Let's see what we can do to activate. There must be some point at which we can activate. It looks like we just barely made it. And there we have. So these little tapestries that freeze and obviously are released, our interaction, allowing us to ascend further up into the mountain. What a real impressive exercise in exploration and ambience. So let's continue, let's journey on through and see what this next stage has. Very windy, but again, more atmospheric spaces, more ambience, and windy spaces. It's certainly a long way down, but let's see how we fare as we journey on through, capturing the moment. Trying to make sure that we avoid any heavy winds that come our way. A long way down, but and I think that was meant to happen. But again, it's a wonderful, there's no fall damage or there's no consequences as a result of falling, being attacked, so there we have tapestries integral to our journey as we complete the stages. Let's continue. We want to make sure that we don't have any problems, and they're revealed before us. The journey nearing completion. Again, very atmospheric once more. A silent moment, coupled with the atmosphere, coupled with our journey, and unfortunately being attacked, disturbing the ambience a few times with the serpent attack and the frigidity, amazing atmospherics of this place. So we could see the light emanating from the final location, the target of all this journey. As always, folks, Front is humbled to have you aboard on this journey of some silence, some solitude, light commentary. We're here to feel the ambience and enjoy the journey. As we can see our character now having great difficulty trying to reach the summit. Last few steps of every summit, the most challenging. Keep it cold. It's proven bit overwhelming for our beautiful character. From warm sands to icy spaces. And now a frozen space. Resting place for our pathway to what may be contained at the summit of the journey itself. spectacular. Finite reality. Reaching the summit. Very impressive. And now with the capability of our ability to levitate and reach some of the very scenic end to the journey itself. Again, more very much a mist feel to it, very much a mist ambiance. Vibrant colors now. It's a spectacular space. Just absorbing the impressive solitude, the spectacle, and the amazing. And here we have the finite point, it looks like. The summit itself. A beam of light. From the very beginning, the first presentation, so distant. Like with anything, perseverance and dedication. You reach your intention. Reach your objective. And it's a spectacular dance of light and colour. And this is a really spectacular journey. As we pass into the ethereal plane, what it is that exists at the very center of the emanating light, bound into the sky bright, journeying into the hyperlight. Let us see what is beyond. Can't make out what's beyond. It's too far, but a few steps now. I'll be entering into the pure light. Well, this was a spectacular sequence, just simply full of colour, radiant lights, full of journey, full of spaces, ambience. As we step into the embrace of the ethereal plane that is beyond us. Journey in many respects of the beginning to the end, from origin and destination, through to which we have gained an understanding of the sandy plains, icy spaces, moments of solitude and moments of awe. Well, this has been a moment, a bit of a long presentation, but there, a culmination, a journey to which took us through platforms, tapestries, displays, sandy spaces, and now our character joins us as we make our way into the pursuit that we all seek, the wonder and value of light. Joining this plane here. Very, very effective, very ethereal, gaining a sense of awe, purpose, as we envelop ourselves in the next plane in the journey. That's spectacular, and really just give you a sense that you're walking into the light. In the very first present part of the presentation, you can see this beam of light from the mountain so far into the distance. We are merely a few feet away from the journey. Completion. Finite end. And feel as we're walking on light now, asking, journey on through. As we pass into and fuse the purpose and function of light itself. Disappearing into the light planes. Again, a spectacular journey. once more to commence a new journey. But a very impressive display at Vox Frontier. Thought we'd just finish this, and obviously the previous part of the journey was presented, and we've obviously got this part to complete and conclude our journey of this sandy and icy wonder. But hope you've enjoyed the journey. We'll continue our exploration, both the real and virtual worlds, as we have more wonders and more spaces in this vast wonder of discoveries to explore. Vox Frontier will now leave you with a sight of the journey from once we started the journey in the distance, and the mountain there waiting for another patron to explore and discover. But in conclusion, a very exceptional and a vastly impressive exercise in the senses in this rather impressive display and demonstration of creativity. This is Vox Frontier, as always, wishing you a safe, inspirational journey onward. Hope you've enjoyed the journey. Until next time, goodbye for now.